Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, we're here today to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. And before I get started with that, I want to welcome my new subbies. Hey, welcome to the beautiful people family. We are more than happy to have you. If you have not already, please consider subscribing. I am on the road to 500, you guys. Listen, small goals. We can do this. And don't you want to be a part of something big? It's nothing to you, totally free of charge to you, but it means a lot to me. So please subscribe, like the video, and comment. And let's talk about what happened. Before I get started on Potomac, though, I want to say Married to Medicine disappointed me this year. Sorry. It was actually my favorite, even over Potomac. But this year, number one, it felt like it was literally like 5 episodes long. I don't know how many it was for sure, but it didn't seem like it was that long, and it was just boring. Like there was nothing. There was really literally nothing. And so the reunion part one was absolutely nothing. It was a lot of disappointments. Like I love Quad. Y'all know I love Quad, but a lot of stuff she was saying was falling flat where I was just like, Quad, hush, hush. Um uh what was I finna call her? Consuela. Uh, what's her name? Contessa. Contessa, her hair, her look, she just looked a mess. Her face looked fine though, but the hair with the thing in the hair and her comment about this is the stuff from your house and I chopped it up and this is like it was just so distasteful. It really was. And I was just like, you're a doctor. And the only person, nope, I was going to say the only person that actually acts like a doctor and remembers that they're a doc. No, that would only be Dr. Jackie because it is definitely isn't Dr. Heavenly. Excuse me. All right, y'all. So that is why I have not done Married to Medicine, not doing Married to Medicine. I was bored. So let's get started with Real Housewives of Potomac. Y'all, so we pick up exactly where we left off with Candace in there giving producer Eric, a piece of her mind and talking about how the ladies would be inviting, what's his name, Michael, to tea and crumpets, and he was literally caught on tape grabbing someone's butt or whatever. And now you're going to make her husband the target. She told Giselle last week, listen, he will put his jacket down so you can walk over a puddle. Like he thinks of you guys as sisters. And she's talking to the producer like, how is he the target? I just don't get it. And she's like, yeah, I'm out of here. And don't cut none of my fourth wall out. Keep it in there. I said, you better go ahead. But here's what's funny. The whole time she's talking, everybody can hear her. She's literally right there. She's right there in the bathroom, right there with the door wide open. And you can see on their faces that they can hear her. So that's why I find it interesting when she leaves out and then Giselle comes out and they're about to leave. Ashley's like, what happened with, well, I mean, I guess she was just being nosy. She knew that something was going on, but I guess she just didn't know what exactly. But she's like, was she mad? And Giselle lying, talking about her stomach was hurting. Giselle's a liar. I'm sorry, Giselle's a liar. It's so many liars on this show. It's ridiculous. But I'm jumping ahead. So yeah, Candace storms off. Keep her fourth wall. Don't play with her. So in her confessional, Candace is like, listen, it's best for me to leave. Okay, because if I stay here, then Giselle's gonna get that rat tat tat tat. And we don't want that. I have too much to lose. And I'm like, plus Candace, you can't really fight. Like, we know that, right? You do know that we know you can't fight, right? But she's like, not today, neck. Not today, ankles. Not today. I'm like, she's so stupid. Yeah, I like Candace. She's so annoying sometimes, but she is hilarious to me. So next we have Wendy talking to Ashley about her, Ashley and Charisse. Y'all, if y'all don't watch Forest Rocks, I don't know what you're doing. um, because she do that, because we cannot stand Charisse. And unfortunately, she's back. And her dry talking self, she's like, well, who's 20%? And Wendy's like, I am. She's all happy. I'm 20%. And this, I'm like, you sound so stupid and you don't even realize. Number one, you're talking about going into business with Peter. And I'm not saying that he's a bad businessman, but I wouldn't want to go into business with Peter. Let him do his thing. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, no loss here. But she just sounds crazy. And then we have oh, and she's telling them how her husband is not really on board. He hasn't really been downloaded on the conversation, but he wants her to pick up everything, learn to deal with everything that's on her plate right now before you pick up something else. And I'm like, okay, so now we know exactly what Wendy's storyline is. She's very busy. She's booked and busy because she says she can't make it to Peter's grand opening because she's busy. And Mia makes a face like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yes, she is Kelly Price. She's booked. She's booked. Um, but and then we saw in the previews or when we saw the trailer that she's gonna end up, having exhaustion or something like that. And I'm like, that's her storyline? Is that very interesting? I don't know. But anyway, um, this actually may be Wendy's last year because I feel like they're trying to freeze her out. And we'll get to it later, but I honestly feel like Giselle and Robin have made up their minds that listen, she gave us the business last season. We seemed, like we cared a little bit or kind of unprepared for it. But this season we're going in, we just don't like her and we're gonna freeze her out. So that's exactly what they're doing. So we don't know if Wendy will be back next season. We'll see how she fares for the rest of the season. But Giselle talks to Wendy, not Wendy, Mia, and she's like, I sent you a nice little text and I didn't receive a response. Yeah, so very weird. Giselle is telling Mia how she didn't answer her. However, I like you and I want to get to know you and I want us to get to a good place. And I'm like, it's so weird. It's very weird that her and Robin want to keep giving Mia all these different chances and I like you and apologies. I'm jumping ahead, but still, I just find that to be so weird. I don't understand why they want to be friends with Mia so bad. Or are they trying to get her to hang on so that they can turn on her next season? Like, listen, you're next season's prey. So stay here for now. But next season, we got you because this season is Candace, even though Robin's not joining in on that one. But anyway, the ladies are sitting out there and Wendy's like, oh, Robin tells them, why don't y'all go somewhere? This is awkward. This is weird. Another weird thing because we don't go somewhere. I'm sorry. When we have these conversations, we have it in front of every goddamn body. That's what we do. That is what this is all about. But they go into another room or whatever, and Wendy's like, where they going? Like, what we supposed to do? And I'm like, go home. The dance lesson is over. Oh, you are obligated to stay there a little bit longer. Okay. So they get to talking about Mia and not Candace, Ashley is like, well, I just think that it's awful that Giselle is, bearing the brunt of everything when all of us kind of feel the same way she feels. And I'm like, well, why didn't you say that at the spring fling? Why didn't you, Ashley, if y'all all feel the same way? And for some reason, what's her name? Wendy says that she didn't call her a liar. She, just lost a friend to cancer, so she don't really play with that. And she just felt like her post was, that's fine, but if it's something that's okay, then she should have come back and clear it up. And then for some reason, y'all, Robin was definitely turned all the way up. Like as soon as she started talking, she was like, oh no, she's definitely going through something, but it ain't that. I was like, like finger pointing and everything, and I'm doing it. Y'all can't see me. But oh my God, Robin was turned all the way. Like she was ready to have this conversation. Y'all, so Robin has the nerve to say, listen, so she made this post and talking about going to the cancer center, etc. She didn't say etc. I'm saying. But then she's like, and it's been a week. And after a week, you're supposed to find something out and update us and let us know. And I'm like, this girl's just mad because she didn't get an update. She mad because she didn't update everybody 5 days later. Like seriously, Robin, you're supposed to be her friend. If you were that concerned, call her in 5 days and say, hey, what happened? How are you? I'm very concerned. Did you hear any test results or anything? Like, Robin sounds crazy. Now, what Mia did, I don't know. I still can't call it, and I don't even want to call it. Jumping the ball, wanting attention, whatever you want to call it, because I honestly feel like anybody on social media wants attention. You post pictures to get attention. You want some likes or whatever. After like 30 minutes, no likes, you like, fuck is wrong with this picture? And I know it's not just me. So you want attention. Like, so I don't know, but she was very, very turned up about it. Then we have Giselle in there talking to Mia about it, and she's just right away. Oh my God. So the post was very confusing, but you know what? It's none of my business. It's none of my business. And I'm like, where's this coming from? Where is all of this coming from? Where she suddenly had this epiphany that it's none of her business. She did not need to be mean about it. I'm going to tell you guys, which I normally do. Like, I try very, very hard not to watch other reviews before I do mine because I don't want it to kind of skew what I say or how I look at things. But if I do, I will cite my source, if you will. And I watch Rocks. I can't believe Rocks had hers out this morning. Can y'all believe that? That's my girl, so I'm not tripping. But okay, Rox. But anyway, Rox was saying how Giselle is starting fights and seeing what sticks. And the thing with Ashley, not Ashley, Candace, the way Candace left, you could tell that that storyline is going to stick. So she can't fight with two people at once. So she don't want to. So that is why she made up with Giselle. Now, I'm not Giselle. She made up with Mia. Could be true. Could be true. Could be, once again, like I said, that she's saving Mia for next season. The same way they saved Candace for this season. They truly did. Y'all, Sharice's been gone too long. She obviously don't remember how this works. Arguing is what we do. You're supposed to let it go a little bit. But Robin says to Wendy, listen, you were the one that walked up to the conversation at the spring fling. I know that's not what it was, but it could have been. And was like, what did those two say? Did those two say it? And she's like, I didn't say your name. I didn't say anything about you. And she's like, you don't have to say my name for me to know that you're talking about me. You said those two, and I just don't understand why. And she's like, I'm just saying because she's like, I don't understand why, because we have the same sentiments. We share the same sentiments. And what's her name? Wendy. It's like, no, we don't, because you called her a liar. I didn't call her a liar. And the whole time they're arguing, Sharice is like, Wendy and Robin, you need therapy. There's obviously something else going on here. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on here is Robin is still pissed off at her about last season. They're not friends. So why are they talking? Like, what is the point of it? Yeah, so then we have this argument going on with Robin. I said now, but I mean, it's the same thing. Robin and Wendy, which is strictly for our entertainment. I'm sorry, it really is, because I feel like people are smirking and like this is going nowhere. And Robin's whole point in the argument is you guys are acting like, or you are acting like Giselle and I were the only ones who found something wrong with her post. And Wendy's whole thing is stand 10 toes down. You the one that said she was a liar. I never called her a motherfucking liar. Like, she was just cursing for no reason. I'm like, why all of that? And she's talking about Robin being aggressive towards her. Stand 10 toes down, on what you say or whatever. Robin stands up and she's like, sit down. And I'm like, okay, Wendy, that's where you lost me, because who are you talking to? Ma'am, who are you telling to sit down like you're somebody's mama? Well, you are, but you're not Robin's mama. And Robin is a man. That's not nice. I was going to say allegedly. It's not even alleged that Robin is a man. She's just manly. So you might want to leave her alone. But Wendy is kind of big too. That's a big girl. So I don't know. But yeah, then we have Giselle and Mia. They end up coming out while Robin and them are arguing. And they wrap it up with Giselle saying, listen, I'm sorry. And Mia's like, huh? Okay. Like, yeah, very weird that she's saying sorry. And I'm like, yeah, you better watch her. Oh, she just owned everything right away. My approach was wrong. Everything was wrong. And I'm sorry. I want to hug it out with you. And I'm like, you can't trust this girl. She's definitely up to something. So Robin ends up saying, okay, you guys, I'm going to sit down because Wendy told me to sit down and she is the queen of all everything. And I'm just like, what is happening here? It once again just seems all for entertainment, and it's just kind of ridiculous. And Ashley is a terrible actress because she sat over there the entire time smiling. Actually, her and Sharice. We get to the fact that Mia and Giselle made up, and they asked Mia, is she okay? Yes, she still has some of the lymph nodes or whatever, but it's not malignant. She can wait until August to get them removed. And then Robin says, very aggressively still, listen, Mia, I want to get to know you and I want to like you or whatever. And hey, your sons are around the same age as my sons. So we want to do something. Are they on spring break? And I'm like, what is wrong with Robin? What is going on with this girl? Yeah, so Robin go around the whole room asking if everybody's kids are on spring break next week. Everybody, yeah, look at your boy ain't never met my boy, and my boys are so fun. I'm like, no, her boys are bad as hell. Don't bring your kids around her boys. But she goes around to everybody. Giselle, Ashley. I think Sharice's kids are too old or whatever. I don't know. But she says, Sharice says, "So your son, your kid's not, she not invited?" And she's like, "No." Talking about Wendy, no. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And Wendy's like, "I don't care. It's fine. I don't care. Kids is where I draw the line at. If you're gonna ask everybody instead of asking me, it's fine." And Sharice is like, "You sure? Okay." I'm like, "Sharice, girl, get it together. Get it together." And Robin says, listen, she don't feel bad. She don't feel like a bad person or anything because she don't need Wendy in her life. And this is what I mean about them totally icing her out, you guys. They're trying to ice her out so that she can leave. Giselle and Robin, they're not inviting her to function, so she won't be there to tape with them. They're doing it on purpose. I guarantee you they're doing it on purpose. And we'll see if it works. The whole don't touch me, don't kiss me stuff from Giselle, they definitely had a talk about icing her out and being done with her so she can leave. And once again, let's see if it works. Yeah, I can't believe I am 16 minutes in and we are just now leaving the very first scene. Like I've been talking too much. Oh, they're 15 minutes in. But we wrap it up with Wendy going outside and the producer being like, hey, Zen Win, how you feel about Mia? And because I think the producers are getting the fact that, listen, you are not going to be able to really tape with a whole lot of women because they're not feeling you. So how about Mia? And she's like, I ain't got no problem with Mia. She cool with me. I think me and Karen, the only ones that really fool with her. But, she a liar. She a liar. And then she realized that she had the mic on. So hot mic, Wendy. Girl, keep it real. Like stand in your stuff 10 toes down. If you think she a liar, say she's a liar. Because this is gonna be interesting come the reunion. All right, so we have Karen and Ray going to get their mani pedis done together, and he's like, "You come and do this all the time?" She's like, "Yes, I have to take care of me, and that's how I keep looking good. And by the way, are you jealous of me looking good and people, checking me out?" And he's like, "Well, every man is a little jealous when people look at their women or whatever. But you've always been beautiful. You've always been attracted to other women, men." And then he changed it around to men have been attracted to you, but you're a flirt. And she's like, "Well, you said I can have eye candy." He's like, "Okay, yeah, you can have eye candy." But before that, we talk about why she didn't show up to the dance thing. She said she had a fever of 102. She had to make sure she didn't have COVID, and she has a natural treasure at home, which is her husband. I'm like, oh, okay. And then we get flashbacks of them saying, "Are you sure? She didn't come. She didn't want to come and be around Sharice." And I'm like, dang it, Karen. It feels like that's what you're doing, and I get it, cause Sharice, blah. But how are you going to tape, sis? Like, how are you going to make your money if you are not showing up to anything because of Sharice? So this is going to be interesting. So Ashley and her brother go looking at a place with a realtor, and it's a nice place. She's more than likely not going to choose it, but just seeing all that space and the fact that it's a real house and not a condo in the sky, where it's literally stuff on top of stuff, I felt happy for her. Good for Ashley. She needs the room. Her kids are going to need the room. But she ends up talking to the realtor about the fact that they are getting, separated, going through a divorce, and is that going to affect anything? And she's like, the realtor's like, no, Michael shared that in confidence, and I told him that everything's all set though, like it really doesn't matter. So the producer's like, does that make you feel away knowing that he's already lying to you about finances? And she's like, yeah. Ashley is just less than smart. She's just dumb as hell. Sorry. I just got to put it out there. Like, what are you doing? This is going to get worse, sis. It's going to get worse. This is just the tip of the iceberg of he's a liar. He's a liar and a cheater. And we don't want you. We don't want you, Michael. But she still does. Like, I kind of feel like Ashley still likes Michael. I mean, I guess that's to be, expected. They got two kids together, but whatever. So we'll see what Ashley ends up doing. I personally still feel like there's no actual divorce going on. It's a storyline. So we'll see what happens. Oh, but she's about to have a moment with her brother. All right, that talk led to nothing. Nothing to see here. She just talked to her brother about, oh my God, I just can't imagine. It just hit me in the fact that we are actually getting the divorce. And she starts to play like she's crying. And I call bullshit. Sorry, I do. But he gives her a hug and she, tries to squeeze out some tears, which I don't think I saw any. But she's saying she don't know if she's doing the right thing. And I'm like, you already know you're not doing the right thing, but whatever. All right, so we have a moment with Robin, and she's in the kitchen. She is fussing. She is very. Robin is on 10 constantly. Like, what's crawled up her ass? Honestly, like I feel like is she too young to be going through the change or something? Like she just seems very mean. Like she's like, what is this? Is this lemonade? Wash this out. Do this. I'm like, damn, Robin, bring it down. But when she talks to Juan, she is very even keeled. Listen, do you think we should get a prenup? And he's like, I don't care. I'm going to make more money than you anyway. Well, it sounded like he said he makes more money or whatever. So the producer's like, so he makes more money than you? Because she's been running around saying how she makes more money than him, even though she made him lose all his money. But now it's all about the fact that she makes more money than him. And she's like, I think he said he's going to make more money. And like, okay, so she tells him, I just don't want you to think that I'm being like this because I got businesses or whatever. And he's like, sure sounds like it. But Juan don't give a shit, basically, to sum this whole thing up. He doesn't care because, oh, excuse me, they're not getting married. Like, if they get married, I will be the most surprised person in the world, honestly. If they get married, it will only be so that she could stay on the show another year and they have a storyline. Because all of this with them, do we still care? I don't care about them. I don't care to see them together, not together. But when they did that flashback of Robin with her old dress or whatever, from what, the first or second season or whatever, Robin used to be so pretty to me. When she had her, just her regular little blonde bob or whatever, she was cute. But now, oh my God, getting to know her and the fact that, listen, I'm not going to come down on her because so far this season, she's just been mad aggressive. But the fact that she is coming into her own and not being under Giselle's thumb is a good look on her. Like the fact that she has her own mind this year, I like it. Even if they came up with the storyline of her, veering off from being under her ass or whatever, I still like it. It looks good. She should keep it that way. All right, you guys. So I haven't seen the rest of this episode. It's very true. I ended up falling asleep or something on it, but I haven't seen the rest. Like that's kind of I didn't even see the whole thing with Robin and Juan last night. So I fell asleep way before that. But I did, like I said, watch a couple of reviews, and I do know that evidently Wendy's hair is falling out because she's stressed because she got too much on her plate. Hence the storyline. Okay, so we're gonna move past that. All right, so now we have lunch with Mia and Robin. And Mia is all dressed up, and Robin is in a sweatshirt, a bedazzled sweatshirt. And Robin is just like, what's going on with the cancer? Do you have cancer? Do you not have cancer? What's going on with the lumps? How many bumps? How many lovely lady lumps? And I'm like, damn, Robin, calm down. So she ends up explaining about the lumps and having them biopsied or whatever. So you had them biopsied, you didn't have them removed, but you haven't told us an update. And what's the update? And you need to update everybody. So are you going to update everybody all the time? And that's why you told us that? And, oh, God, she was giving me a headache. And Mia's like, no, I'm not going to, continuously update. I do see how it's snowballing, but, it is what it is. And they get their food. And then once the food comes, she's just like, so tell me about the lump. And Mia's looking like, what the fuck? But she's like, okay, it's on my ass, and you can see it one day if you want to. And I'm like, Robin would like to. She would, yeah. Can you? She would like to see that. So then we talk about what Candace, what was Candace saying? And Robin is just like, well, Giselle had this whole story about Chris coming into her room, wanting to speak to her personally and alone or whatever. And then, what's her name? Mia is like, well, I have something to add to that story, and commercial. So that's where I have to stop. It's a commercial for me too, because I gotta fast forward through the commercials. Because once again, I haven't seen this part, you guys. So Mia's lying ass says that Chris was staring her down. She kept catching it in her peripheral vision at the spring fling. I'm like, so much happened at the spring fling. And then the producers and the editors show, yeah, she was even being loud and he wasn't paying her any attention. And then she's like, and I was dancing and I just kept catching it. And I'm like, sounds like you was looking at him. And yeah, they showed a couple different times and Chris was paying her absolutely no mind whatsoever. So once again, Mia's a lying ass. And I can't remember, was it Rox that and I hate to keep saying her name, but I think that's, I only watched 2 reviews. So it had, no, that's not true. One of the reviewers that I watched said that, what's his name? No, Mia ended up coming onto Twitter or whatever saying that it was the margaritas and he really wasn't staring at her. And so, she kind of apologized to Chris. And I'm like, yeah, because it just didn't stick because you look crazy. Like the editors made you look crazy. All right, so Giselle goes to Karen's house, and you can tell she's very excited to be there. Because remember when Karen wouldn't let her in? Remember when Karen was just like, she can't come to my house. Like, no, what are you doing here? But she's invited over. She's very excited. She gets there. She's walking on the white carpet saying, shoes or no shoes, while she's on the carpet. And Karen is like, no. And then later on, we see that Karen has her shoes on, though. She's all on the carpet in her shoes, and I'm like, okay, it's your house, so I guess. And she had on like tennis shoes. Where am I from? She had on gym shoes. Giselle did, but she's telling her about the TikToky. She's like, yeah, Ashley knows how to do that stuff. Looking at her TikToky, I'm like, Karen is so old. But just talking about what happened at the event, and they have a lot to talk about. I like seeing them together, even though Karen was just like, yeah, so Giselle is here. It's nice, even though I don't trust her ass, but baby steps. And I'm like, that's how it got to go. Because I forgot to mention that earlier, Candace even said that, listen, she got too comfortable with Giselle, got too comfortable with her. And I'm like, yeah, you cannot assume that she is your friend. You cannot, you cannot, you cannot. The only person she likes is Robin. And we don't know how that's going to go now that Robin has a mind of her own this season. We shall see. All right, so now we have Chris and Candace going out for lunch. And I think I also forgot to mention that Candace was giving herself a shot for IVF or whatever. I can't remember if I mentioned it. I probably skipped it, but she did. She gave her self a shot, and she's sitting here. She starts crying. She's folding the napkin, doing the napkin thing, saying how the doctors told her that, normally I guess they see people more often. And she's saying that, it's her first mom situation and she's already failing because I guess she's too busy to, go as often as normal women would or something. I don't know. So then they start talking about the situation with Giselle because she's saying that the stress is probably messing with her eggs as well. And my whole thing is, Candace should have definitely just been like to Giselle, oh, okay, gotcha. I don't think anything was happening or whatever. But Karen ends up, so we have Giselle and Karen talking about it, and then we have Chris and Candace talking about it. And Chris says he's 99% sure that she said, let's go to your room. I guess it was so long ago he can't remember exactly. But then we have Giselle telling Karen, no, he said, let's go to your room. And, Chris is like, she was like, let's go to my room. And I don't know, like, I honestly just feel like it was so nothing. And that's what he was saying. Like, it was hurtful to him because he's constantly trying to make people comfortable. And this is what ends up happening. But he did shoot her some bail. He was like, listen, you just never know what people have been through and how they're going to take certain things. So I thought that was very nice of him. Still being nice. Karen is telling Giselle that he owes her an apology. I heard what happened and I heard that you weren't comfortable and I feel like Chris owes you an apology. I'm like, you don't even really know the story. So what are you talking? What are you saying? But again, we're getting conflicting stories from both of them. And I just think it was miscommunication. It was nothing. It was Giselle looking for a moment, seriously, because even Chris said, I don't understand why this is coming up now. All right, so once again, we are getting like the different stories or whatever. And I really thought it was super nice that Chris gave, her the benefit of the doubt, saying, well, maybe she was uncomfortable. No one was there. Maybe she was uncomfortable, but nothing happened. I wasn't thinking of doing anything. We were just having a conversation or whatever. And he's like, and she references my penis, every chance she gets. Then we get all the flashbacks of her talking about his brown dick, which she does all the time, talk about how it's brown with a pink tip. And I'm just like, why are you obsessed about this girl's husband's situation? Like, why are you doing that? But Giselle is talking to Karen, and Karen is asking questions like, did he touch you? No, he didn't touch me. The glam wasn't there, so I told him I was uncomfortable, and I just wanted to open the door and see, can you see if somebody, if they're ready for me? Well, did he do it? Yeah, he did it. He left immediately. And she's like, okay, there you go. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. Fuck out of here. And then he was in there complaining about his wife. So he's in there talking about his wife to you. And Giselle is just a mess. And I do feel like he was doing it on the strength of them being friends and them kind of having, being kind of like brother sister type thing. Not so much, but you know what I mean? Like they've been around each other for years now. He's assuming that this is Candace's friend. So maybe he's complaining, thinking that maybe she can get Candace to, see a different side or act a different way. I don't know. I just think Giselle is so full of shit. But Karen then tells a story about somebody in the group that hugged her too tight. And, her boobs were all the way in her back or whatever. Like he was hugging her, holding on a little bit too tight. She said she spoke with her minister. She spoke with her husband. And they just figured out, it's not time to sound the alarm. He just had too much to drink. And we know she's talking about G. G was very inappropriate last season. I'm so glad they're not showing him a whole lot. Hopefully we keep it that way because I know a lot of people like G. I was not one of them. I just felt like when he got drunk, he was ridiculous. He was ridiculous. He was annoying. He was nasty. He was, ugh, it was just too much for me. But we know she's talking about G. And I will say, you guys, I met somebody like literally in front of the guy that I was dating at the time. I met his friend. His friend hugged me and he was hugging me like forever to where I was like, fuck is happening here? Like he was hugging me like I was a long lost friend. And I was just like, okay, let me go. And like my guy is just standing there. And literally right after though, because I'm not one to hold on to anything, I'm like, yo, did you see how your guy was hugging me? Like, what is going on? Oh, he said you're so beautiful. He said he liked you. Yeah, I bet he did. Because he was hugging me like forever. So I'm just gonna bring it out. And not saying that, there's anything wrong with women who don't feel comfortable enough to say something right away. But once again, Giselle, full of shit. Wait. Okay, I told y'all I'm just watching this for the first time too. Karen just said this happened about 3 years ago. So we know it wasn't Mia and G 3 years ago. Who the heck was 3 years ago? Oh, was it Michael? Like Michael was the only inappropriate other one I can think of. But he don't like women. Allegedly. It's not, well, it is actually alleged that he don't like women. But okay, now I'm a little baffled. I thought it was G. All right, so Karen ended up asking Giselle how she feel about the fact that Robin had a conversation with Mia and she was unaware or she wasn't there or whatever. And Giselle's like, yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to her about it yet. Then the producer asked Karen, do you think there's some cracks in the Green Eyed Bandits or whatever? And she's like, yeah, there's definitely some cracks. And then we see Robin walking up to Chris and Candace looking a hot ass mess. She got red on one side and pink on the other side. And I'm like, nothing about that you can think is cute. Like, why would that be cute, Robin? Oh. All right, so as Robin comes in this god awful outfit that she has on, I don't know. Anyway, I'm I'm going on a tangent, but she comes and they're a little standoffish. She's like, don't act like that. Give me a hug. Bring it in. It ain't like that. And I'm like, yeah, she has been on his team the whole time. So they sit down and talk about everything. And once again, Chris is just kind of like, I don't get it. And Robin is saying, listen, we drove back in the Sprinter or whatever together. She did bring it up. And I was just like, what it sounds like nothing, basically. So I don't know. So then, the whole thing is she says, well, where do we go? How do we fix it? And Chris says nothing, but Candace says, listen, she got to walk that shit all the way back. Like right now, Giselle is dead to me. So she's going to have to walk it all the way back. And it will be interesting to see if she does, because Giselle feels like she is owed an apology. She told Karen, because Karen asked, how can it be fixed? Well, it's been 7 days, and I just knew that at some point Candace was going to call me and be like, he said sorry. Sorry for what? What is he apologizing for? And I hate the way that she keeps saying the fact that he did that to me, and that, what did he do to you? Like, you sound crazy. He didn't do anything to you. Now, women, ladies, are allowed to feel uncomfortable. You are. Get out of the situation. If it's something as kind of, I won't call it innocent, because she feel away. Like, you can't totally discredit a woman and how she feels. But we all know Giselle is full of shit, you guys. Like, she really, really is. And so for her to bring it to the light like this and bring it out, it's ridiculous. She's ridiculous. But that was the end of the episode. You guys, if you are still here, you are the real MVP. Thank you very much. Please like the video, because it helps with the analytics. I would appreciate it. And once again, I'm on the road to 500, even though y'all know I'm really on the road to 1,000. Let me get $1, some. But we're going to start with small goals, because we're almost there. We are close to 500. So if you want to be part of something big, go ahead and subscribe, please. I would greatly appreciate it. And welcome to my new subbies. Definitely appreciate you guys. And once again, if you're still here, you're the real MVP. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.